Tonight, Bill, can you?
You are listening to the Doug Stanhope Podcast.
The potato peelings in the sink did not turn into vodka as I had hoped. I only start to need a drink after the liquor stores have closed. I heard you changed your name again, but don't you change your hair. It was the only thing I liked about you in the end. La la la.
And 3, 2, 1, it's the Doug Stanhope Podcast. We're bringing it to you live and hot from the last night of the tour in Melbourne, Australia, and this is all bullshit, fake energy that's about to die. It's been a good tour, but and it's a beautiful country. There was not a clunker in the lot, and but you get to that end where you're it's like Fight Club, where he smashes Jared Leto's face in and says, "I just wanted to destroy something beautiful." I think that's what the show tonight is going to be.
Oh, can
Fuck
do.
it. Melbourne is probably the most overrated city of them all.
Oh, you're so full of shit.
Probably. I don't know. I walked down the river. When I went to the botanical gardens, and I went back to my hotel and got drunk twice. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't go out.
You don't need to go out.
Who's our guest, Doug?
This is Miss Prinny.
Yeah.
Miss Prinny is a Stanhope family comedy all-star from the Wayback Machine.
The very way back machine.
Alt.comedy.standup. That was a news group when I first got on the internet where comics would banter from here and about.
Yeah.
And then someone decided to throw a alt.comedy.standup.
Marmel, yeah.
It was like the saddest Comic-Con where all these people that would sit on this news group and bicker all showed up.
Where?
In L.A.
At the Improv on
Yeah,
Melrose.
did a show or did I guess a few nights because there's a bunch of
couple
people.
nights, yeah.
And that's where I finally met Miss Prinny in face to face.
Yeah.
Before that, I remember I had an ingrown hair on the right at the ball shaft under penis area, the disputed region of is that cock or ball? And I had an ingrown hair, and it was slowly growing up the shaft of my penis where I could see it, but I couldn't get it out. And when
And he talked about it every day.
so
on
I'd
the
give
news group.
updates
Yeah.
on my ingrown hair on the comedy news group, and when it finally surfaced, I yanked it out and I taped it to a postcard and sent it to Prinny.
And I found that scrawled letter just the other day. The offending hair wasn't with it, but the mad ramblings were, and the sticky tape was.
So you think in years to come, Australian scientists will be able to sort of make a clone?
Well, that was my hope.
The hair's gone?
The hair is gone, but you can see where it was on the tape.
It's like
And then
the
mad
Shroud of Turin.
sideways- Yes. The mad sideways writing from you is all there. Yeah. And I think I retaliated with sending you back to some doctored baby food that I'd taken the label off and relabeled minced niggers.
I really thought
you
that
got
was a
that.
thing over here. I had no idea that was a joke. I thought that was, oh, wow. That
Very
hasn't...
forward thinking.
Yeah, and then you married Ben, the cowboy, and everyone was reeling their heads at that. Still do. The fact that you've procreated is just stiflingly wrong.
Well, that happened. The first one happened just around the time of the first news at Bisbee. So we still say that you are Spike's dad. There's a photo of you beside his bed, and he says, "Night, night, Uncle, Dad, dead."
with your squishiness and his clamminess, I can imagine you could have thrown those babies at the wall as toddlers and they'd stick like the David Letterman Velcro thing. Just clammy, squishy babies.
No, very cute babies with curls and filthy mouths.
How did you meet Ben?
Same. Well, through
Same
Doug,
news group.
really. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He went down to see Doug, and I said to Doug, Ben's coming down, blah, 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 and off it went. And then he came to Melbourne, and I kept him.
Wow.
And no one fought you for him either.
You put up a pathetic little fight, just for show.
He's a sweetheart.
He
I remember
is.
one time he came to the desert party, and you guys got in late, and he was already fucked up, and we couldn't tell, like, to the point where you're like, you should really lay down or something, because it wasn't just normal drunk. It was this wistful. He kept wanting to kiss me and hug me, like we were at a funeral of one of our best friends dying, and I love you, man, but with a deeper need, and like fresh out of the car. Like, what the fuck did you do on the drive in here?
I can't tell you. That's
I don't
none of your
know.
business.
He seemed normal the next day.
He was fine.
Anytime someone spiraled out in the desert early, you worried for the long-term sanity. But yeah, he rebounded.
He did. And then I took him home and kept him. Lured him here.
And and I finally see you on your home turf.
Yeah. I've been on your home turf for a long time, and
Yeah, I feel like a bit of a waste right now. But we are 2.5 hours before showtime, so I'm pacing myself on Zabrowka
Piss.
Bison Grass Vodka. We are definitely not sponsored by this failed attempt at let's try something new by Alex, the promoter. Alex, who put this shit together with no experience, had no problems. He's fucking aces all the way. We lose him after this. We do one more show in Auckland next Thursday, so we have time to fuck off. So big round of applause. If anyone would put their drink down to give you a round of applause.
Bingo,
But
do a
we
round of
won't.
applause.
No, she's Facebooking.
no, I can't. Sorry.
So yeah, you've been brilliant. So yeah, let's cut to some of your funny stories that I should have written down and segued into.
Well,
You said I got a couple of stories. What?
well, she lived near you or and at you in some way.
Yeah, you were telling me things last night that I go, wow, did I forget just complete years of
I
my
told
life?
you she lived. She'd been to Kirsten, and you said you had no memory of her ever being there.
No, not Kherson. I remember being there. That's when we met. That's where I was living
Yeah.
when.
Oh,
But you didn't live with me.
No. We'd come and stay.
Yeah, the
Because you
people
were
were-
out on the
'cause-
road then.
yeah.
That was an open house.
Yeah, the Kherson
Kherson.
apartment. That was the second one. Mother
Yeah.
was still in the first one
Yeah.
there. And Patricia now lives in the second one at Kherson.
That's right, yeah.
And Brian's in the
In
first
Mother's.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the second one, well, that was a fucking animal house. There was so many people that stayed there at one point or
Yeah.
another. Celine and then Sarah Hyland and her friend. God damn it. I remember just giant parties where we had a wheelchair for some reason, and we'd go down and they'd pick up Mother in the wheelchair and bring her back to get her high in the middle of the night.
I remember sitting in that apartment on Curzon one day, one night. Everybody was drunk, and you just sort of shuffled out of the room. Nobody paid any attention. Everybody was talking. And then you came back in with one of the cats, and you just very calmly walked in and put it in the bath and bathed it. And nothing was said, and everybody was sort of watching going, I think he's bathing a cat. And I said, well, nobody look him in the eye. It'll be fine. It'll be over soon, and we can get back to it. And that was fine. Then you let the cat go. The cat was fine. It was happy. And then a little while after that, you shuffled through the apartment again and then came back with Mother by the scruff of the neck and marched her into the bathroom too. I was like, oh, okay, this is going to go south. And she was arms up on the door and protesting and coughing and spluttering. And that was real early. That was Curzon.
Yeah, that was a brief moment. I don't know. It couldn't have been more than a couple of years where that was really crazy. Maybe, I don't remember exactly. I know I left there when I got together with Renee.
Yes.
To move to Venice, which to Mother, it was like I was leaving the earth. I was going up to, fucking colonize space. You're going to leave me by myself? Mom, I'm fucking moving to Venice. I'm with a girl now, Mom. Mom, I got a girl now.
Yeah, that Curzon was the transition between Betsy and Renee. So all of that shit was happening.
Between Betsy and Renee, it was a short life of singledom, but man, did we take full advantage. And then when Venice, we moved there. That's where
that was crazy shit there.
Yeah, that's when shit got weird. That's when I got the man show, and then Bingo and Renee and I split up. So I'm looking at Bingo. Renee and I split up, and Andy Andrist and I were writing on the man show. So we're just living basically in the office.
Yeah, you lived in the office because you had a commode chair.
Yeah, we had everything. Yeah, we had clothesline. We had the whole, tricked out like a mash tent. And Venice was basically open. Like, we'd go there on a day off if we had a weekend off.
Come home on the weekends.
And we had a couple of homeless people, Patty and Van, that lived on the... I had rented a small office right next to the apartment, just like a one-room office because it was a wicked small apartment. So they were living on the stoop of that office because they were already living there when I rented the place. And one morning I came in to just chuck some shit in there, and there's two homeless people because it had a little wall so they could have some privacy. And I walked in on them, and they're like, "Oh, I'm sorry, we didn't know we thought this was open." And I go, "That's all right. Just don't shit on my stairs or anything, and keep an eye on the place. And you were here first." So you.
Yeah, that's
all I remember of the night that we're going to talk about is Andy and I were wrecked, and we had been just heavy drinking on the man show for days and weeks. Yeah. And we decided we're going to take the night off and not drink tonight.
Yeah, that didn't happen. So that was the week because Ben and I got married in Melbourne, and we came back to Denver. And we'd been in Denver for about 8 or 9 months, and then we were moving to LA. So I came out without Ben, and I stayed...
The way we like you.
And I stayed with you at in Venice. So I go around to get the keys off you, and you said, "Oh, Andy and I, we're staying on the lot. This is the key for the gate. This is the one that'll get you in the front door. And this is the one for the office. And don't worry about the homeless people they're fine. Don't worry about it. Just don't let her in and take all the beer." And I went, "Okay, all right." And you said, "I'll see you on the weekend." And so I'd been there.
Because when we were staying there, they would come over regularly and just cocktail with us for happy hour.
Yeah.
And I remember Rogan coming over once with one of the juggies, a perfect 10, and they came in, and then, and this is Patty and Van, who are clearly homeless people. She was a British woman.
She was British, I remember.
With, not dreadlocked hair, but just matted, like an old cat.
Yes.
And he was a black guy missing his 2 front teeth or 4 front teeth.
A lot of teeth.
Teeth missing.
He had some teeth.
But they were cordial enough that you could hang out.
Really, yeah, look, I got there on, say, the Wednesday, roughly. You said you and Andy would be home on Saturday and just to have at it. So I went and let myself in and went and said hi to Patty and Van. And there was absolutely no drama. I'd hear her talking to herself frequently outside. That was fine. There was no drama. She'd come over occasionally just to see if there was any spare beer or, a moist towelette, anything. But no, absolutely no drama. And then that first weekend you guys came home and we were beering and watching movies.
Yeah. Well, we weren't drinking yet. Andy and I remember we didn't crack the first drink till after the cops got there, and we go, "All right, so much for not drinking." So we were watching. I remember it was Gangs of New York.
Yeah. And when I tell the story, before that was Punch Drunk Love, and you cried like a little bitch.
I cried?
No, you didn't, but that's how I tell the story.
Okay. Sorry. Always.
Yeah, we watched a bunch of movies that week, and we'd also watched rushes from, oh my God, a couple of the sketches that you'd shot for the Man Show that must never have made the air or would have made the air in very small quantities. Right. The one where, I don't know where you went, Vons or somewhere, a supermarket, and had a booth set up for people to take a pill to sterilize them.
Oh, yeah. That made it. Hang on.
That was so good.
Is that your stupid husband at the door?
How dare you?
All right.
Oh, what? Oh.
It's will call. So we're watching Gangs of New York.
Gangs of New York, yeah.
And Patty and Van come in, and we tell them, hey, we're not drinking tonight. Help yourself to a beer, but we're just relaxing, watching movies. And then she kept fucking with...
She kept coming in. She was pacing.
Van. Andy would know the quote. She just kept torturing and pestering him.
Yeah.
And he's just sitting there trying to quietly have a drink. And there was a lot of stabbing in that movie. So we think that influenced Patty at some point because she went into the kitchen, and I just assumed she's getting herself another cocktail, and she grabbed a kitchen steak knife and hit it on herself somewhere. And
stuck it in her boot.
Said, and we told him, listen, you got to go because we're really trying to watch a movie, and you're kind of distracting. So have a good night. And minutes later, from the opposite porch, we hear shrieks of, help! She stabbed me!
Why are you doing this? I love you. And Andy is up like a fucking shot out of a cannon. You're on the phone. We're watching movies. You're on the phone.
But Andy jumped the fence, and I don't have that kind of dexterity, so I had to run around the long way.
But he says he's up on the fence because it was like a 7 or 8 foot high fence, that front yard. So you had to get on it to see over it. And he says, she's got a fucking knife.
Which is where the, hey, she's stabbing me, help came from. She had a knife.
And he's grumbling, that's why we can't have nice things. And then Andy's over the fence, and I remember looking at you and just going, oh, for fuck's sake. So you hung up the call and called 911, and we went back through the house and out through the front door and around to the front of the house, and we get to the front of the office, the little porch, and Andy's between them trying to keep them apart. Van's trying to get to her to say sorry and I wasn't trying to do anything and why are you doing this?
And she's still got the knife.
Yeah. And Andy, just cool as a cucumber, says, a bit of help. So you hand me your phone and picked up there was a chair.
I grabbed a chair
in the front
like
yard.
a lion tamer.
Yeah, exactly.
And used the 4 legs of the chair to push her
Pin
down.
her down, yeah.
To push
Patty.
Patty.
Because
He
she had a
lowered
knife.
it over her, like a cage.
Was she still intent on getting? Was she still intent on getting him?
She wasn't letting go of the knife.
No,
so,
she wasn't letting go of that. So yeah.
Did she have a crazy look on her face?
And by the way, I was
Patty
on the
look on
phone
her
to
face.
911. Don't act like I'm like, hang on.
No. Yeah, you called 911.
Yeah. I wasn't chatting with a friend going, hang on, someone's getting stabbed. What are you doing? Hang on, I should probably do it. Yeah, so, and then we hear sirens and...
Yeah, so you're saying to Andy, get them apart. So, and I looked at Van and I thought, okay, that's a lot of blood. I'm going to go and get some towels. So I went back into the house and got towels. I'm still holding your phone. I come back out. You're sitting on the chair, yelling at her, having a smoke. And
sometimes you really need a smoke.
Andy's closer to the house, the bungalow, and I hand him the towels, and I'm thinking, don't get any blood on you, for fuck's sake.
Meanwhile, Prinny is a nurse.
Yeah.
So she's telling us what to do. Apply pressure to the wound from the kitchen, yelling through the window.
Andy's like, am I doing it right? I went, how are you, Van? He goes, I'm so confused. I went, it's fine. You're doing it fine.
I'm so confused.
Don't worry about it.
He was such a sweetheart.
He was. So there's this utter chaos, and Doug and Andy are, trading hilarious jibes at each other. Patty's still screaming like a banshee under the chair. Van's crying and just wants to go and hug her. And your phone rang and it was in my hand. And I looked at you and I thought, well, you're busy. And you used to take a message. So I answered the phone and this very gruff voice says, this is the LAPD. I have a report that a black man has stabbed a white woman.
Wow, I don't remember that part.
Oh, yeah. And I was incensed. I'm trying to process what he'd said, and I went, no, a white woman has stabbed a black man, actually.
If you will.
Yeah, exactly.
Sir.
Oh, my God, I was so indignant. And he just said, that's not how these things happen, ma'am.
Holy shit.
You don't remember the rest of the story. I can tell by the look on your face. Yeah, so he says it's not how these things happen. I clearly have a report in front of me that states a white woman, a black man has stabbed a white woman. Has the black man been subdued? And I was beyond furious. I can't even explain how I must have been ready to have a stroke. I was so mad. And all I could sputter out was, what is your name, rank, and serial number? Like, what the fuck am I going to do with that?
Yeah. Was it the army?
What the hell? I didn't know what else to say. And there was this pause and then this really gruff laugh. And he goes, hi, Prinny, it's a tell. Is Stanhope still alive? You'd been talking to him while we were watching the movie before the rest of the shit happened.
Right.
Oh, my God. And it took a couple of minutes for the words to sink in. It's you, funny fucker. Funny fucker. He's going to have to call you back. And that's when then the paramedics arrive.
Right.
And the police arrive with their guns. Where's the knife? Where's the knife? And they put up police tape, which stayed on
we
that
have a lot
fucking
of
palm tree forever. It's probably still there.
Oh, yeah, no, I get a lot of pictures of that. We were trying to, like, subtly take pictures, but after a while...
we were posing. I've got posed photos.
Yeah. Once we got a few goofs in and got them loosened up, then they let us, like, pose for pictures.
It was insane. So all of this just madness was happening. The cops take Paddy away. The paramedics take Van. Then the cops split Andy and Doug and I up to get our story. Uh-huh. And I'm standing in the front yard, and I said to this guy who looked like he was 12, I've been here for 4 days. It's my friend's house. And I'm now giving you a deposition standing next to a man show sign that says, make me hard. It was just nuts. It was nuts.
I ended up having to go to court just to testify. They never called me, but I had to be there.
Right.
Where she, pled guilty or whatever. I assumed they'd deport her, but evidently no. That's not enough.
Do you know anything at all about what happened to her?
No, I know that.
No, she needed mental health.
Yeah, she was
really
crazy.
did.
He was just fucked.
Yeah.
But by the time it ever went to court and I had to show up, I saw him, and he was doing great. He was living with his brother, and so I gave him a ride to my only time ever being in South Central. But it was kind of a nice house. It was once a nice neighborhood, and now it has bars on the windows, but still a nice little house. And
wow.
so he'd been living there for a while and doing well.
Yeah. Well, it was after all of that shit happened and we went back inside after we'd taken lots of photos of the police tape. And we go back inside and you said, beer to everybody. Yes. And you went into the kitchen. Andy and I sat down in that little lounge room and we hear from the kitchen, oh, fuck. She took one of me good steak knives. And that was like the topper for the night. It was like, oh, you poor thing.
Yeah, no, I should go back and get that from evidence. Shouldn't you return that? What point?
Yeah,
I probably told this story. If not on this podcast, I'm sure I've told it on Rogan's podcast because he cocktailed with them and it was a very awkward, tense kind of like, what the fuck is going on here? So if you had to sit through that story twice, well, go fuck yourself. I don't remember. You're the assholes who show up at 2 consecutive shows. We've had some assholes on this tour. Not nearly as bad as like when you play the UK. In fact, actually, compared to my general touring schedule anywhere, not assholes hardly at all.
No, they're remarkably polite people.
Yeah, and but the ones we had, the last few nights we were in two nights in Perth where the first night I had to basically throw out the entire front row. I was just getting down to that. I don't have the patience for this, and there's too many of you together that are all just talking and then, trying to...
It was the worst type of heckling because, as you said, nobody else could hear them, or very few other people could hear them.
Right, and they just say stuff. I go, start going into a bit, and the celebrity death pool. I'm like, all right, this has nothing to do with I know you're making me understand that you follow me, and I appreciate that, but this is not the time or the place.
Right.
And I don't know, I gave him enough back and forth, and I gave him a warning, I think, or 3.
Oh, you give them several.
And you gotta go. Sorry. You're never gonna, when they're too wasted, there's no way, you can't sober them up.
No.
So if they're in that headspace and they're drunk and they're, more than one of them, it's just gonna continue to fuck up the show. And I said, should I just deal with this now or just let you fuck up bit after bit after bit and do it later? So let's just throw you out now.
Yeah.
Just be good about it. And they weren't.
Did they wait in the car park and
well, they
tell
couldn't
you?
understand why they're getting thrown out. So they're
Well, they were
standing
helping.
in the front row, this dreadlock shithead and his girlfriend with half a shaved head that's
They were
holding
protect
him
people.
back saying, you don't have to leave. Don't listen to him. And like, no, you have to leave. You're the fucking problem, lady. You, that one chick, are solely responsible for 90% of the bar fights that ever happen in a bar is because you're telling the dude, don't listen to him. Don't back down from him.
Oh, fabulous. Well done, Perth.
And then they were
And one of them was filming, and I'm like, you can't fucking film. Finally, Alex has to play bouncer, and he's got height, but you can tell by his overly groomed beard that he doesn't
He's too
have
pale. There's not
chops.
enough blood coursing through those veins.
And the other guy that ran the venue was cool as shit, but he's a little gray-haired old hippie dude. So they're the two, and the guy standing up, getting eye to eye, going, "I don't have to leave," and I'm going, "Don't you make me turn the fucking audience into a bouncer." So I got like 3 of them got thrown out, and then I go, all right, front row seats for you in the back, and 3 people came up and took the seats. I go right back into whatever I had been talking about before, and I look down, and the fucking guy that had just taken the new seat sitting there filming me. Like,
Oh, perfect.
did you not just see the debacle that happened? Are you a fucking idiot? And by then, I had really lost my shit. Like, no, now you have to go. You have to go. But I've been a fan forever.
Oh, well then.
But
continue
you're a
to tape.
fucking idiot. And this thing is, every time people get thrown out, and it's like only twice on this out of 10 shows or 9 shows did we have to have people removed. That one just happened to be several people. But it generally starts with filming.
Yeah.
But no one ever films them getting thrown out. If you're going to film, I don't mind you filming at my show if you're filming someone being violently removed. Everyone wants to see that footage, and it's not burning my material. I've been using that bit since cell phone cameras came out, the old have them violently removed gag. So film that. You guys gonna stop having a fucking party? First of all, get that fucking camera out of here. I know I saw that. You know how I saw that? I saw it by how it ruined the fucking timing of my bit. You guys, you're fucking one step away from fucking bar, and there's gonna be 5 people at the bar that get your seats that are fucking nice. I know you're excited. These are the they don't let these people on the beach. I saw the drink there for me, but did you see how I was building up to a fucking climax of the end of a bit? And then you go, hey, wait! He needs a free drink. He doesn't get that in life. He has no other way of getting a drink. And these people will understand if I just crush all the timing of a bit. There you go. You need it more than me. All right. I'm going to start chucking you out soon. Yeah. You know what? Instead of like letting you piecemeal fuck up the show, and I know you don't know you're fucking up the show, but I've kind of hinted at it a lot. So why don't you just guide towards the fucking back now, rather than you fuck up all the time. First of all, don't you fucking tell him no. You're the fucking problem everywhere. Is the one chick that will fuck these guys going, no, make him throw you out, honey. Make him throw you out. No. When the tour gets to the end stages, like I dealt with a lot of this shit in Byron Bay only because I knew my act was fucked and I knew I was fucking him over. So I let a lot of that go. But now as we're getting short, as they say, yeah. I don't care. They're not going to get better. Don't you make me turn the fucking crowd into a bouncer, motherfuckers. You know how much hate these people have? The show will not continue till you leave. Do you? Yeah. All of you. Yes. All of you. Yes. Yes, you. He's all right. Hey. What's that? Take your glasses. There you go. I think we're good now. I think we're good. No, wait. I guess all right. But he's gonna go. If he's with them, they're gonna wait around for him. Sorry. Collateral damage again. All right. We good again? Right. There's two more. Two more for here. Come on in. There's one right here and there's one right there. Small guy or a small gal for this one. This guy's giant, so it's a middle seat in the fucking airline. You'll get in there. All right, everyone want to fucking meet you, a person next to you that you don't know. Introduce yourself. We'll get this right back on track. I don't do that often enough. I realized 24 years of doing this, I could just have people thrown out just for no reason. Like, you're wearing an affliction shirt. Get out. No, you didn't do anything wrong. You laughed at all my jokes, but I hate that stupid shirt. So, see, I don't abuse my power. But sometimes they weren't going to get better. Trust me. It was just going downhill. Yeah, all right. Now let's take a minute to regroup. And keep in mind, my written material will never be more entertaining than people being physically removed from a show. Nobody ever leaves a street fight to go watch the band. He's glassing the other guy, but wait, they're playing Mustang Sally. I have to remember where I was. Brian, can you get me a shot and a glass of, I got vodka on me, so if you just got me a glass of club soda, I'd be good. But definitely give me a shot of tequila or fucking anything. With the fucking camera, what, I gotta throw everyone out? I'm right here. Stop with the camera? Jesus, how many times do I have to fucking, no, don't film me. You're sitting there filming me. Are you fucking dense? You're looking at me. Why are you fucking mad dogging me? You don't sit and fucking film a show, are you?
You're a big fan, but that means you should know you don't sit in the front row and film someone. I'm trying to think here. Wait, if you're just sitting there having a fucking conversation with your friend at lunch, and I just walked up and started filming you, how good is your concentration? Are you just gonna keep talking about fucking your things at work? Or does that you go, what the fuck are you doing? That's what I'm doing to you. Exactly what you'd do to me if I was filming you having a conversation with your friends. So it takes me out of my head. If I'm prepared to what? I didn't think I was going to turn on people till Melbourne. Why do you think that's okay to just fucking film someone? It doesn't make any sense to me. I've got, for years. Oh, jeez. Like, generally people go, I'm sorry, you caught me filming. Hannigan brought up a great point. Back when bootlegging started, it actually took fucking skill. You would have to hide a tape recorder in a boot and have some friend wire you up, and it was a big Ocean's 11 kind of project. And now everyone thinks they can just go, get everything. And here's the thing. No one, I guarantee you, nobody. You can. There you go. Go to the back. I'm good with detention. I know you didn't mean anything, but you can tell I'm already fucking geared up and just threw out other people that were filming, and then you take their seats and start filming. So yeah, hang out in the back. I know. I know. And I have to accept that a lot of the people I draw, it's my own fault. So I try to have some kind. I'm gonna frisk you for a camera before you sit down. I got nothing.
I'm sweating my balls off, and I don't know if it's this vodka.
It's quite warm in here.
It's the shitty fucking weather. It's horrible.
That's not bad outside. It's nice in the hallway.
It's muggy.
All right, let's.
Muggy sucks.
Hey, you know what? We'll take a break.
Yeah.
And
we'll just leave it running and just.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Great news, kids. The much neglected merch page on my much neglected website has been taken over by Greg Chaley. So we have tour t-shirts, podcast t-shirts. We have Pop-Off Vodka Presents t-shirts. Get them before we get sued, before we get the cease and desist. And a whole shitload of CDs and DVDs that span a lifetime. A sad, tragic, bloated lifetime of my fucking horrible thoughts and pontifications. So help me get that shit out of my crawl space. Thanks for that. And now, back to the podcast, previously recorded. Okay, a quick note. Bill Burr evidently just announced Australia and New Zealand dates. I don't know. I think it's maybe February, but go to billburr.com and yeah, if you were at these shows, you're going to fucking love Bill Burr if you don't already know him. And I'm guessing you already do. So, yeah, check that out at billburr.com. I have no upcoming dates, nor do I plan on booking any for a while. I need to decide if I want to do this stupid career anymore. But I do that about every year, and I always come racing back like a whore. All right, you know what? Fuck this. Do a station ID.
This message was brought to you by Doritos. What?
No, your name, lady.
Roseanne Barr and Doritos. Crunchy corn chips, bitch.
Miss Prinny, Australian comic legend. What is that? Apple and grass
It's
vodka?
apple juice mixed with that horrible bison grass vodka, and you can still taste the horrible bison grass vodka.
Yeah, I'd go with that ruby red. That'll kill anything. Hey, you know what? My sponsor this week for this entire tour has been whatever brand of lumpfish caviar. That's right. I found this stuff when I was in England, and I was eating the shit out of it. It's basically tobacco if you eat sushi, little tiny eggs.
I hate that stuff.
And but it's really fishy and really salty, and it's grotesque. And Alex hooked me up with like 7 tins of it, little jars. So I've been sitting there just getting fat, not leaving the room, not seeing any sights, eating lumpfish caviar, which is only like $6 a jar. When you say caviar, people have that,
Well, the
champagne
giveaway is
wishes
in the
and-
word lump.
Yeah, lumpfish.
Yeah.
You know who's not been getting fat?
Bingo Bingaman she quit
Lettuce and
smoking,
chicken.
exercising like 4 hours on a treadmill yesterday.
That's why your nipples are chafed today.
Looking
That's true.
good, getting tan, getting fit. And, you look gorgeous. It'll all fall apart. Don't worry.
Off to New Zealand, you get some New Zealand ice cream in you. You'll be right.
So, Prinny, before we get to part 2 of this, you're sponsored by who? Every guest gets to have fake sponsorship. There's no plastic jug vodka on this fucking island. The special at the Woolworths was 2 bar-sized bottles of Smirnoff, not the big jug. Bar size, 2 for $86.
That's not bad.
That was
Australian drunks are really committed to the bit.
By the way, you have raised
Really
a very
committed.
interesting nomenclature or definitional problem there, because you refer to this as an island, whereas I think it's strictly speaking as a continent.
Well, it's a continent that's a fucking island.
Well, I don't think that's true. I think if you're a continent, you can't be an island.
Why can't you be an island continent?
Because the whole point of being an island is that you're off something else, whereas a continent is a definitional mass.
Well, you know what? That gives the readers, the listeners, something to write in about. Join in on the argument.
That's why I like to raise these things, because I know what they're like, and they love these sort of things.
You've upset somebody in Topeka, Kansas.
That's
I can
right.
feel it in my bones.
Yeah. Why did you say Topeka, Kansas?
I
I know
don't
why.
know.
Because of those fucking eggs.
What is it?
Is that where they're from?
No, because you define them as being like Topeka if you get them in sushi.
Tapioca, is that what you're talking about?
No,
Tobacco.
tobacco. That's why you said tobacco.
Oh, maybe it was.
Sushi. You know, little tiny eggs.
Yeah, I don't like sushi.
By the way, something else.
Yeah, you're goddamn lucky you don't like sushi, because
That's
this
right.
fucking island has the shittiest sushi
It's the-
ever. I fucking snapped on a guy. Maybe we can pull the audio, because that was the second night in Perth after I'd already been fed up the first night audience, and some guy stood up in the back when I mentioned the
that's
shitty
right.
sushi. And I just went off, you fucking midnight oil looking motherfucker, come up to my face. You want to heckle from the back? You want to see what a fucking small man can do to you?
The sushi here is terrible, and he just shouted out, Japan!
All right, yeah, maybe we can yank the audio. I don't know. Alex will get that to Chaley, and Chaley will do his little editing magic, and we'll see how much of the heckler shit we can pull out of the 2 nights in Perth. Are they marked? Are they labeled? Will he know which nights are Perth? All right, good.
I spend a lot of time. I don't go to your fucking zoos or see your thing. I have no interest. The only interests I have are going to thrift stores in the States and trying to put together a stupid outfit. 70s vintage things. And I try to find good sushi, which I've never found on this. That was my biggest shock here. Japan, no shit. Wow. Are you at Hot Tip on Twitter? Yeah, it's all fucking coastline here. You'd think You have plenty of surf culture, you fucking assholes. How about you, while you're out surfing, you find a fish that you'd sell? The only sushi I found that was in Canberra, there was on one of those train sushi places, 2 out of 3 things were slathered in mayonnaise. Go fuck yourself. Oh, you have the biggest balls in the back of the room. There's an open fucking chair. You fucking giant Nazi. You look like fucking Midnight Oil. Come up here. Fuck with me. Fuck with a small man. Go ahead. See what I had to fucking offer. Martin Bryant. Yeah, he was a petite dude too. You fucking cunt. Yes, your sushi sucks. Did I shit on your national pride? Your sushi is shit. It all comes from a factory pre-rolled with garbage fucking, it's like supermarket sushi. It's vending machine sushi. I've ordered better sushi on eBay, you fucking asshole. And I'm sorry you had to take the beating for everyone else I wanted to yell at in my life.
So his response was Japan.
Yeah, and I don't know. I just, at that point, I just went fucking blinders. But it came out funny enough, I guess, that it didn't turn into a conflict. Oh, it was very funny. But I meant it. I made it funny enough that I could get away with calling it comedy. So who's your sponsor?
Well, actually, my sponsor this week would be my mechanic, because my ridiculously retarded Cube, I've got a Nissan Cube, has shit itself.
Oh my God.
I know.
What an embarrassment. That had to be Ben's idea.
No. I saw a picture of it and I said, oh, that is the most ridiculous looking car. I must have one. And I went online and I found one and I bought it and I love it. And we call it the Retardus because it's deceptively huge inside. And I love this fucking car, and it's just shit its transmission all over the shop. So I've got to get a new transmission and I'm really sad about it.
So who's your mechanic?
Dane from Mountain Mechanic Autos in Bayswater. Bless his cotton
Dean
socks.
from Mountain thing of water.
Bayswater.
Bayswater. Doesn't it sound exotic?
If
Beautiful?
you have a piece of shit, isn't that the same thing as a soul? Or is
No,
a
it's
cube
worse than
different?
a soul.
No.
Worse than a soul?
Oh, yeah.
The cube
No
is...
self-respecting rodent would be seen inside a Nissan Cube.
My friend said it looks like a Nazi staff car.
It looks like a Nazi clown car.
All the kids think it looks like a Postman Pat van. It's black, so...
And it has one weird back window
yeah,
that doesn't
the
match
wraparound
the
back
other.
window.
Yeah.
I fucking love it.
All right. Well, you know what? If you have a shitty car that you're embarrassed about, go
Take
to
it to
see
Dean.
Madine.
Madine in Bayswater.
Dane in Bayswater. He's ace.
All right. Now, last night we're at the hotel having a nice conversation over a light dinner.
Yes.
And I step out to smoke a cigarette as we're talking about the good old days. And in the course of a cigarette, I come back in to hear your stories about your first husband raping children. And I go, how did I miss this segue? Oh, she was just talking about having her first therapy session, talking about her husband and child rape. Like, fucking Hennigan must be the king of the segues here. We're talking about the goofy old days on the internet.
Next thing you know, he lures it out of me with a piece of cheese.
I smelt it coming. I knew there was something in there.
Very weird day yesterday.
Yeah.
Just a really fucking weird day. Because, I did. I had my first therapy session in, ever, because it's been umpty 100 years since I was married to that piece of fucking shit.
Hey, that's slanderous. When you're going to talk about a guy fucking kids, let's keep the libel above.
Okay, well, let's just call him Craig Jasnick.
Don't bleep that out. He was convicted, Chaley.
Yeah.
I have to talk to my distant across the water.
What was he convicted of?
Oh, I'm not sure what the final charge was. Improper relations
Poor
with a
sportsmanship.
Yeah, putting his thumb over the blowhole. I'm not sure.
Okay.
But yeah, he walked away with a really little slap on the wrist and you've been naughty.
So this is now just to give it its context. You said yesterday that you went to the therapy session partly because the issues that involved in your situation had been dredged to the surface by the Andy Andrist.
Andy Andrist, yeah.
See, Andy, you're reaching people out there.
It's like this whole
Yeah.
podcast.
You're a bad touch a good touch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So go ahead. Get to the meat.
Oh, the meat. Jesus, fuck.
You marry this guy, you're how old?
20-something stupid.
All right.
Yeah, early 20s. Stupid. Married him. He had a shit family, and we used to say, "Oh, isn't it good that he's the only one that got out unscathed?" Because the father was a raving lunatic. The mother, and the eldest sister, when we were just going out, there'd been problem with Craig Jasnick, Jazownak. He'd stolen a check from my roommate and had used his student ID to cash it. So up there for thinking. And he'd been caught and blah, blah, blah. So
And this is the one you thought he's a keeper?
here's the one that I thought, I know his mother's a cunt. And I know his father's an abusive asshole. So maybe he just needs to be
Kids
pointed in the
rebel
right
against their
direction.
parents.
Yeah. Well, joke's on me. He was the most fucked up one in the group. So,
But he was a male model.
yeah, he was an in-house model for Jag clothes. Ooh, we better not say that. For a prominent clothing label here.
Well, so
in Australia.
if it's a fact, it's a fact.
Yeah, but you don't want to drag them
Don't
down.
want to drag them into it. They don't need the publicity at all.
He wasn't on the clock when he was doing this shit.
No, he was just stealing from them.
He wasn't a mall Santa. Hey, can you model as a mall Santa in a private room? What?
Yeah, so the whole Andy thing came up, and I just loved the retribution, the confession, and that whole thing, just fucking up and cheering and high-fiving anybody that would walk near me, and they'd, "What's this for? Don't worry, just high-five me, I'm happy." And then Linda and I, and another female comic from Australia, Fiona O'Loughlin, who's brilliant and wonderful, who you would love, we all met up one night at a gig, and she said to us, "I want to do a show with you guys." And Linda and I were, I'm just reeling from this shit with Andy, and Linda had been dealing with a lot of stuff, and we're both in turmoil.
Your old partner. What
My-
was the name of your TV show?
Miss Itchy is our duo.
All right.
And we had, innumerable. This vodka's good.
Yeah, a lot of different.
Smacks Italian.
All right.
Nothing. Anyway,
So as Miss Itchy was the show, and Linda was your partner.
and we still do Miss Itchy, and that's a very different thing to our stand up. And
All right.
so anyway, Fiona sees us at a pub, and she says, "I want to do a show with you guys." And we went, "Okay." What could possibly go wrong? She's a recovering alcoholic, just rebuilding her career. She's also had this massive change in her life. So she said, "Let's do a show about, getting on with it." And she knew nothing about my history at all. The only one that knew, it was Linda. So we mount this show. We're doing Miss Itchy. We're doing stand-up. And at the end of it, we did this chat section where we'd send out questions to the audience. And here you go, write down what you want to ask us. And it was just no holds barred stuff. And Fiona has been all over the media here because she'd had this really public... she'd collapsed on stage. She was so drunk she passed out on stage during a gig.
Oh, that makes news over here? Okay.
Oh, it was
Put that in my set list.
Honey, when you're a woman, yeah. Had she been a bloke, it would have been a little scamp. But no, she's got the lady jugs and the vagina. So it's a story when that happens.
All right.
So she was rebuilding her career. She's sober for the first time in, umpty 100 years. Boo. And we put on this show, and then we get to this
Q&A.
This Q&A, and there was some really full-on stuff there because her kids had been part of her act, and so there was questions about her kids, and then there was questions about, what is this show about, really, about getting over what? And because Linda's the only one on stage that knows my history and knows what my deepest, darkest is, so we're kicking along with this show, and Fiona's answering these questions, and people are crying, and it was just really full on. And Linda answered some stories. She's got her own story, which is amazing and horrendous, and all those things. So she's doing her bit, and there was more tears and more, and this is a bit full on. And then Linda turns to me and says, "So, what's your problem?" I said, no, I'm fine. You two are weird. And, because I couldn't say it.
Did she out you?
Yeah, she did.
Oh, that's great.
It was. Yeah.
So how did she say it?
She just told the audience that my ex was a pedophile and that I'd caught him.
You walked in on it.
Yeah. I walked in on the
incident.
On the incident.
An
incident.
With a
young girl with mental health issues, learning disabilities.
Under 10.
Under 11. Yeah. Spectacular human being.
Wow.
Spectacular. Yeah.
So you
and he jumped up and said, "She doesn't mean anything, honey. It was just."
It was really the whole.
I love you. This is just a thing. It's a one-time thing.
I was thinking about you. No, it was the entire day was such a series of coincidences because I had decided to go back to nursing, which I had not done for years and years and years and years. So I did my first nursing shift, and I was an agency nurse, which is casual. So I walked across to the hospital. This person was staying in our house with us, and I said, "I'll see you later." And she said, "Can I come to work with you?" And I said, "Well, no, it's not comedy. I'm going to nurse. I'll see you when I get home." So I'm off to do an 8-hour shift. And I walked across to the hospital, and I got there and I'd been double booked, which had never happened before in all the years I'd nursed. Never.
Comedy all the time, but not nursing.
Yeah, never nursing. No, because it's such a specialised field that I was in. So I stood by the phone because it was pre-mobile days, and I stood by the phone. I thought I'll just ring him and tell him I'm coming back. And I went, I'll be back in a minute. And I walked back, didn't tell anybody. And in that, 20 minutes that I'd been gone for 8 hours, it was on. He'd, set the stage and was abusing her. And
you've been gone for 20 minutes and then
20
it's
minutes.
Gonna,
I'm not due back for another 7.5 hours.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. I didn't understand the 8 hours part. Yeah.
And I remember walking up to the door. Normally I would buzz the buzzer because I'm lazy and I don't want to get my key out of my pocket. I thought, I've got a key. So I let myself in and all the blinds were down and I thought, that's weird because I've got a real blind diversion. It's got to be open. And then I opened the door and went, okay, hi. Well, I clearly have to kill with my own hands.
And you said that?
Yeah, I looked him dead in the eye and I said, you I'm going to kill. And so he ran off to the kitchen to get a knife.
All our stories have knives today.
It's the knife show. Oh, we should be sponsored by knives. Thanks, Wusthof. German engineering at its best. Fuck me. So,
Ginsu, that's the one that took me too long to get
cuts
to.
through a tin can.
Yeah.
And an ex-husband's hand.
so he runs off to the kitchen to get a knife.
I didn't know. He was just getting away from me because I'd threatened him. And I was really because I'm not calm. You know me. I don't tend to run calm ever. And I was uber calm, scary calm. And so I was just completely focused on removing her, getting her out of the house. So she's wearing a towel, nothing else. I take her out the glass doors of the apartment. My car's right there, so I can still see him. And I put her in the car and I locked it. And I said to her, if anybody comes near the car, just on the horn, I'll come straight back. But nobody's coming near the car, I can promise you. Can't promise you anything else in the past. But this one I'm pretty sure on. And I walked back inside with this very clear picture of how I was going to... Oh, that's what happened. Sorry. Before we actually left the house, he came back from the kitchen with a knife. And I remember looking at him thinking, are you fucking kidding me? You're going to come at me with a knife? Oh, this is so going to be over so fast because I will do you. You are flayed, sunshine. And he had these bullshit superficial cuts on his wrists, which he showed her.
Feigning.
Yeah, and he said to the victim, look what you made me do. In front of me. I'm right here.
Oh my
You
goodness.
fucking asshole. So yeah, that's when I looked him in the eye and I said, I'm going to kill. I'll be right back.
Please hold.
Just hold. Your
I'm gonna
business
kill
is
you.
important to us.
Please continue to hold. Do you know, here's some of the ways you could be killed. Please continue to hold.
Press 1 if you would like me to cut your hands off. Press 2 if you would like your
I'm
dick
kind
gone
of like
first.
in terms of I'm picturing the walk to the car, kind of like the Michael Madsen bit in Reservoir Dogs, where he very calmly goes out to the
I was
car
so
and then comes back
calm.
against the torture scene. I'm just seeing you just walking to the car.
By the time I got back, I had an afro, the whole deal. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but it was through glass doors, so I was right there.
All right.
And I came back into the house ready to just deal with him. And the fucker was gone. And I was
Ditched out the back?
so mad. He'd gone out the front door.
But not before.
Not before. We found out a couple of weeks later because I just completely fell apart then. So I moved all my shit out of the apartment. I didn't. I couldn't go back there. And I got my filing cabinet home. This is weeks later. And I'm going through my filing cabinet and I thought, all my term deposit slips have gone. They're like,
Like your checkbook.
It's like a bond, like that you take to the bank and here's this, give me $10,000.
It's like a cashier check.
All right.
Yeah. So in that insanity that had just happened, and he's naked, by the way, don't forget, he's stopped to go through the filing cabinet and take out my term deposit slips, find his pants and his shoes and go.
Jesus.
That's where he went.
And
That's
he
his brain space.
And he tried to cash. Did you say 40 grand?
Yeah, he would have taken them to the bank and. But he would have needed to have forged my signature because mine was the only name. It was my money. Mine was the only name.
Oh, I thought he had tried. And
I'm
failed.
sure he would, but I hadn't had any contact with the bank. And when I found them gone, I just said, because I was useless, just catatonic.
How long before they arrested him?
Less than 24 hours.
All right.
Yeah.
And by slap on the wrist.
He'd served time in remand, no jail time, and a suspended sentence for 2
time
years or
served?
something. Time served.
You're fucking kidding me.
Yeah.
Unless your court system is so backed up that he's 90 now.
Yeah, he's just a kiddie rapist. It's not like he's driven too fast.
What was his name again, in case people weren't listening?
Craig Jasnick.
That's not Anthony Jeselnik, the comic, for you who are doing dishes and not quite paying attention. That guy does not rape children.
What area of Australia does he live in?
Southeast Melbourne, as far as I know, and I know that he's remarried and has children, which horrifies the shit out of me.
Yeah, that doesn't
It
stop.
doesn't stop. And the victim that I caught him with was not the only one.
Man, well,
I'm sponsored by Therapy and Ginzu Knives. After Thanksgiving, I'm having hypnotherapy. That'll be messy. Call me after that.
well, she was wearing a towel. You know, if you want devil's advocate over here, kid wearing a towel. You know,
Come here to look in her eyes.
Yeah, he might have thought it was a toga party.
Oh, give him fucking toga party, piece of shit.
So, can you remember calling the police?
No, I didn't. No, I was a wreck.
Right.
Yeah.
so who called the cops?
Mum
the
and
kid?
Dad.
Oh,
Mum
all
and
right.
Dad. Yeah, I just took her away. And my parents.
Is it one of those things that it's never spoken of now? Like
Not
with
really,
the parents
no.
and the family?
Yeah, no.
How'd the kid turn out?
Fractious.
Trouble.
Trouble.
Can she put a set together? Because Andy Andrews still to this day can't put a set together
No, I
and
don't
stick
think
to
so.
it.
No, I don't think so. I mean, she was at a disadvantage already, having learning disabilities, and being easy to manipulate and all the rest of it. So, yeah, just total victim.
So how did you find the first therapy session?
I howled the whole time. I walked in and she said, "How are you?" And I went, "Ah!" And that continued for 2 hours. And she said, "This is going to be okay." "And what are you doing for the rest of the day? You're probably going to want to go home and have a sleep." And I went, "Well, actually, I'm doing a stand-up set tomorrow in front of 1,600 people, but, no biggie. And my friend's in town from the States who I haven't seen for about 6 years, but no, it's fine. I'm just going to go home and cry, and then I'll see him later, and it'll be okay."
Then we'll get drunk, and then I'll do a set.
So, yeah, it's going to be a really
It'll be
long
fun to
haul.
know what helps you more, because now that you're getting back into stand-up, what's more therapeutic?
Oh, I know.
That lady or an audience full of miscreants?
JAZOWNIK.
It sounds like the FM broadcaster of paedophilia. JZO.
How great would you feel if one of my fans just delivered some no return address gift hat box to your door with that dude's head in it, signed "Love the Sausage Army"?
We could all play soccer. It would be great.
I'm not really good with my feet.
I think you would be in that sense.
I have a white driving loafer. I don't want to stain up.
But yeah, the past couple of months have been, because that show with Fiona was in November, and we did 2 of those. And poor Fiona, I have to say, bless her, and I love her. Fiona O'Loughlin, fabulous Aussie comic. She's great. But she was sitting on stage and was as blindsided as the audience was to that entire news. And it was right after Andy. And you guys were getting ready to head down.
Did you get any laughs out of it right off the bat?
After the gut punch, yes, I did. Yeah,
was
because
gonna say,
that gallows humour kicks in so
It's
fast.
your default setting. It's all right. Let's get to the.
Yeah, how can I alleviate this? My pulse is about 150 at the moment. So I'll have a little come down party in a minute.
It's all right. That's why Chaley does the editing. Speed this whole thing up right to the fucking gallows humor.
So yeah, there's jokes in there, but yeah, I'm too fucked up at the moment to find them.
It's all right. No one listens to this podcast. I'd be happy.
Yeah. Apart from a lot of lonely, vindictive men sitting alone in their basements.
Hello, chaps.
He came at you with a knife. That's not a knife.
I know. That's what I was hoping for there.
Yeah.
Oh, you can't do that. It's
Too hacky.
too easy.
It's still good that both stories with Prinny have involved knives.
And knives, and also a knife I never got back, and one that I really liked. So fuck him as well for that as well.
Well, that's the same as Doug's knife. He never got that back.
We both.
You
have
know
knives
what?
in
We
evidence.
bonded over that.
Lost cutlery.
This is why I'm not allowed to
In the
have
hands of
splades.
the man. You're lucky I'd come after you, Mr. fucking sushi heckler. But I don't have my best knife. Fucking man took it away from me.
We should be sponsored by Spork.
Somebody stole my executive spork.
Now, there's Sporks in the States, but here they're called Splades.
Ah.
And Solang or Pewter, which is just a fabulous company name, was the primary manufacturer of the Splade, and they would come in a velvet-lined box, set of 6. Very posh.
Have you ever tried a porcelain blade? Have I bought you one? I think I once thought about buying you one, and I thought, no, better not.
No, I got one of those like plastic blade things.
Okay, but you not tried the porcelain blades?
No, I don't think
they're
I have.
crazy.
We're talking about knives or sporks?
No, I'm talking about knives. Like
okay.
I quite like the kitchen equipment stuff. And
You were the
I bought myself.
gayest straight Scotsman I've ever met in my life.
Mm-hmm. That's how I get the chicks.
That's why I love you.
And I bought this ceramic blade, and it's long and detailed to explain. But you think of ceramic as being like what toilets are made of, but there's a way of processing porcelain so that you get a porcelain blade, and it's the sharpest fucking thing you've ever touched. It is almost impractical because anything you touch gets cut. And like you can't just sort of I cut here, because just by placing it on whatever you're.
Get me one of those.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
I'm thinking that I should on some level, be defending that guy and pedophiles in general do have a fucking mental disorder. And
Yes, but go ahead.
But there's also, I have nothing against some people just need to die because their mental disorder. If you're a cannibal and you can't control your appetite, you go out and, well, yeah, you should probably be put down for the better of society.
I'd like to come in on that.
Yeah.
I read a lot of true crime, and there's a brilliant sociologist called Elliot Layton, who's a Canadian. And being Canadian, he's remarkably liberal and, so to speak, with it. And he studies. He's written a couple of books. One's called Hunting Humans, which is not about serial killers. It's about what they call them, spree killers, which is a very different mindset from a serial killer. And then in his book about serial killers, I think was called Soul Survivor. I'm a bit confused here. He also wrote a brilliant book called Murder in Modern England. Anyway, when I saw him interviewed once, and he's remarkably liberal, remarkably erudite, and he just said at the end of this interview, "Oh yes, the thing about serial killers is they're basically a virus, and the only cure is to kill them." It's not a punishment; it's just they're an aberration and should be killed.
Yeah.
Look, the fact that these pederasts and pedophiles are so calculating, they know it's wrong because they hide it.
Exactly.
Number fucking one. And they do create a fabulous pathological liar. They create a reality for themselves which absolutely absolves them of blame. And I'm sure he still blames me and everybody else around him. And, he was the victim, absolutely. And I'm sure he believes that. And the only way to cure that is a nice ceramic blade across the deepest part of the throat.
Kyocera.
We could start where your ingrown hair started. Just work our way up. It'd be great.
I don't like to talk about that. The first one was funny. I had a second ingrown hair about the same area.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I don't like to talk about it.
Was
it
that
was one
the
of the few
Hendon
times I
bag?
went to a doctor, and it was
Was that the Hendon bag after your vasectomy?
No. This was another ingrown hair. That's when I stopped shaving my fucking balls.
I remember that.
Yeah, I'm like, all right, this has happened twice, and the second time it got.
Was somebody insisting that you shave them?
No, you just figure I got fucking gross pubes. Fucking long, gross
I
pubes.
finished washing the cat and mother. I may as well tidy up downstairs.
Yeah, but yeah, that certain area because I have some fucking creeper vine hairs. It's you can trim but not shave. Don't shave that area because the second one became not impacted, but it was fucking gross.
You had a hydrocele.
It took a long time to fucking heal, and it was disgusting.
You had to have it extracted?
I don't even want to get into the fucking details.
It takes a lot to get you grossed out.
Yeah. Well, when it's on your own dick, and it's. You ever see a fucking dog get bit, and the skin doesn't fucking it stays open. Like if a dog gets a wound, it stays open. So by the time that thing came out, it was just a fucking open hole that was not trying to. If you cut your hand, it's gonna it's not gonna be a big fucking. It's gonna tense up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, bag skin just it's fucking foul.
Well, let's move on to something that you've brought up here, which is a general warning out to people who come to visit Bisbee. We've had yet another iteration of don't bring your dog to visit.
Yeah, I got to find out. We're going to save that for when we're at home because we have a visiting dog. I paid for 3 vet bills before I go. You can bring your dog over, but at some point Henry will probably turn on it. I have a dog named Henry Phillips, as well as a friend named Henry Phillips, who completely randomly.
Does the dog like to cook really badly?
Well, Brett Erickson is on his way to L.A., who I think he's going to be putting out a Doug Stanhope podcast with him as the guest host. And since I'm away here, I didn't know I'd have equipment, so I guess they're dropping one of those. But he brought his dog, and it's a pit. Mine's a half pit, small, like 45 pounds. They brought a pit, and I guess Henry still remains unbeaten. So, don't bring your fucking dog to my house.
So I think that means it's open for kids to come then now. We had a little turn of events.
Nope, kids. Ichabod's the one that gets in a kid's face, and kids tend to panic. And he
I've got a
hasn't.
photo of Ichabod and Spike.
What's
about
that?
that far apart.
Is Ichabod
my
attacked people?
8-year-old. You were holding him.
Ichabod has gone
Yeah, that's
like
very
in a
cute.
kid's face. You know how he gets when you come to the
I
door.
never seen him
But
do
then
that.
when it was at the football field when we were running around, and he went right up to some kids, and I wasn't there. It was scary. But I don't know how to wrap this thing up. Let me look at my notes.
Sacks underpants.
Should we take a little pause while you look at notes?
No.
Okay.
The fucking weird guy in Canberra. Canberra's the only show I actually went out. Sorry I didn't come out and take pictures, but I don't like taking
unwieldy.
pictures.
It's unwieldy.
And this, like most of the shows, Canberra was a small enough audience. I go, I'll hang out.
Yeah.
But it was literally 2 hours of, can we get a picture? Can I get a picture with him? Can we get a picture together? Got a picture and a picture. And I'd love to fucking hang out and drink with you and listen to your fucking stories. And but the whole camera thing, I hate posing. I hate my head. And it's just, that was only maybe however many people are hanging around. 40 people left after a show. And it was too fucking, one guy, I love the crazies. Like, there's a guy, and I guess he came to a bunch of shows. That's the only one I went out, so I only saw him there.
Of the crazies very quiet.
Well, it depends. This guy had done 18 months in prison for assault or something. And he told me the story very quickly, and I don't know, you kept me sane in there or whatever. But he handed me a folder full of prison letters and his prison IDs and parole.
And when he handed it to you, he said, "Be careful."
Did he say that?
No, that's
No,
that's from Margin Call.
Oh.
Anyway, keep going.
No, but it was so important that I had these, and I'm like, you probably want to keep these. You might want them someday. So I kept them up until now, and I'll probably ditch them. But I did read your shit on a plane, and the guy next to me was very creeped out because I had it all spaced out like I was working a case. So I had your 2 photo IDs on one side, and then I'm going through each letter with and the guy in the middle seat. I was hoping he'd ask me what I do, because I had all like, I could make such an amazing bullshit story, like I'm hunting this guy down for the mob, or I'm a bounty hunter. But the only thing, he did look over at one point and pointed to the jail and says, "Isn't that place closed?" And I go, "I don't have any idea." He's like, "Well, I think that used to be such and such." And I go, "I really have no idea whatsoever." And then he didn't ask.
I'm not sure. Do you think we'll have another Australia podcast? Or
No.
not?
Maybe a New Zealand.
Okay, well, I just want to know, we do need to pay tribute to Virgin Australia.
Virgin Australia is fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, compared to, frankly, it makes traveling a pleasure again, almost.
Oh, the entire Australian flying experience. If you were flying on a fucking crop duster, you can just go to a gate. You don't even need a boarding pass to go into the terminals. You don't take off shoes. You don't take out liquids.
Yeah.
You don't take out an ID.
So by TSA definitions, we've been living under the threat of imminent death the past 3 weeks, because apparently we've not been taking off our shoes and we've not been having all our bags scanned and etc. So
no ID. I mean, you need an ID to get your ticket.
we got our boarding pass. I got my boarding pass by typing my name into a machine.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
You don't even need a fucking ID over here
It didn't even say,
to fly internally.
I just needed to know I was Brian Hennigan flying from Brisbane, and it gave me the boarding pass.
Yeah, so you could just go to the gate and kiss your loved ones goodbye and shit.
Well, there's only 2 Brian Hennigans in the whole of
The
Australia.
only thing they ask you when you're going through security is to take out your laptop and your umbrellas. And that was only at the last one. That was flying Perth to here in Melbourne. Is take out umbrellas.
They're very afraid of the rain in Perth. Very afraid.
I have no idea.
Maybe they're afraid of...
Was there an umbrella bomber like the shoe bomber?
No,
Maybe,
we're not that
maybe they're
organised.
afraid of bad luck. And they don't want you opening it.
Superstitious.
It could be like from a Bond movie where they
There's
shoot
no
poison
new
darts.
shoes on the table either.
Yeah.
Don't be doing that shit.
Yeah, no hat on the bed. Sir. All right, let's wrap this up. And Prinny, you can find her at Fahey Younger on Twitter. Fahey, Fahey Younger at Twitter.
She also tours as
Miss Itchy. Miss Itchy is the duo I do with Linda.
Yeah.
That is really weird shit. So you'll like that. That's we're dressed as fat bridesmaids and we mash stuff. It's mental.
And then you're going to work in the "my husband was a pedophile" angle, and it'll.
You know, one of the first Miss Itchy
her
shows-
ex-husband, not Ben.
Ex-husband,
Not
yeah.
Ben.
Not my beautiful Ben.
Oh yeah, I keep bashing on Ben, your current husband, but that's just how we do over the years.
You've
We just
called him our husband for years.
yeah.
Since we got married. How's our
No,
husband?
I've
gross.
called you our wife,
That's
so
right, beg
by
pardon.
default.
But no, Ben is a beautiful human being that I could
He's
just
a
smash
clammy
the face
man.
off and
He's a
eat.
milky, clammy, moist man with long piano fingers.
Yes.
You know what? Seriously, if I was afraid of marrying the same problem, that guy's got the look.
I'm going to make you kiss him on the mouth again tonight.
I will.
It's me now.
I will.
I love you. Mwah.
Now play the Matoid.
Yes!
Party time. Party time. Party time. Party time. Drink your drinks and eat your eats. It's party time. Laugh your laughs and heat your heats. It's party time. Smile your smiles and blue your blues. It's party time. Dance your dance and shoe your shoes. It's party time. Howl your howls and suck your socks. It's party time. Yeah. Oh baby, grab your craps and fuck your fucks. It's party time. Grab your craps and fuck your fucks. It's party time. Everybody, grab your craps and fuck your fucks. It's party time. One more. Grab your craps and fuck your fucks. It's party time. Here we go. Party time. Yeah. Party time. Party time. Yeah. Party time. 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 Hey. Party